Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here, coming at you with the important news you're here to watch today. No more Mr. Nice Spy. Watch Chuck, it's an underrated show. I'm joking. The real reason you're here is to know why am I recording in this setup? Well, it's because my camera battery is not charging, so I had to order a new one. So that's really the reason you're here. But now, let's talk about this B-list news. The magical Sentai Scan season is upon us. We have our first look at King-ohger, the next Super Sentai series, our classic introductory poster. That's all we have for now. As we roll out, obviously, we'll transform. I mean, that's going to be funny later because I think the mecha looks like a transformer. Is it funny now? Probably not. But bottom line is, we got the poster. And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about the fact that as we go in the coming weeks, we will have more breakdowns of the suits and the characters and the plot and more details. Of course, eventually the trailer and all that stuff that I'll be covering. But right now, we've got a good, clear first look at the Rangers. I like that it's just a good, normal look at the poster. Like, it's not like a weird early scan where it looks like someone put like wax paper over their camera and had someone tase them as they took the photo. Like, we get a good clear shot at our core 5 Rangers. We get a good clear shot at the mecha, even like the belts and the swords and all that stuff. And honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. Suit-wise, I really like the design so far from what we see. I really like them a lot. It basically hits exactly like I wanted it to, where we're not doing something really outside the box, which, don't get me wrong, I like the outside the box thinking. I absolutely applaud the outside the box thinking and I appreciate it. But if you do outside the box thinking too much every year, then that becomes the norm. When everyone's super, no one will be. So these are a little bit more traditional and yet unique at the same time. And most importantly, I think they look awesome. If I only had one complaint about them, I would say that maybe just for the first pictures, like the base suits look a little bit plain. I think we'll see a little bit more of the intricacies and details and designs as we get more like personal looks at them, like just a personal profile, like what makes you tick, Red Ranger, or whatever. I don't know, what am I saying? Regardless, that would be my only complaint. Otherwise, I think they look good. Red stands out immediately with his huge visor. You know how it is, but you know what I mean. Like, it reminds me of the Black Ranger from Q-Ranger. Reminds me of, quite honestly, just all kinds of different things I've seen in other toku and anime or just other stuff where like a big, almost V-shaped visor like that. Like, it instantly stuck out to me as just feeling almost familiar, which I kind of dig, and I like that it is unique in that sense. Blue and black are probably my favorite. I think blue looks really cool he's like a dragonfly based. I think red is beetle based, blue is dragonfly based on the rumors. And just the way the visor just looks really cool, and it complements his whole design. It gives him almost a more magically feel, to use a really technical term. I wouldn't use big words like that unless you have a non-degree in using magically like I just did. That was a really bad joke. I don't know why I'm still going on about it. Black Ranger looks really cool. I especially love the way his helmet and visor work together. He's based off of like a wasp or a hornet. Having like the hornet pattern on his mouthpiece looks really cool. And then you got kind of like the silver antenna or the antenna that stand out. I think that works really well. It's nice because it's like not over designed, but it's simple and it works. And then you have pink and purple. One of them is a butterfly, which I believe is purple, and pink, or yellow, excuse me. I said pink and purple. Yellow, I believe, is mantis, which means it's actually beetle if we're doing Power Ranger science. Just at the first glance, they almost look very similar to me. Like, they almost look like twins. Twins, Basil, twins, just with the visors. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that's the way I felt. I think they both look good. They don't stand out to me as much, at least in the visor helmet department, as the guys. Although it is really cool that we have purple as part of the core team. I think it's the first time we've ever gotten purple as part of a core team of Rangers. My first thought was like, oh, we had that with Q-Ranger, because like technically speaking, in that series you have like orange, gold, and silver as part of the core team. But no, purple was like part of the first wave of Special Rangers. So it's the first time, even if this was like a many Ranger series, it would be the first time, but it's like just a classic 5 lineup, and we got a Purple Ranger as part of the core team, and I think that's pretty cool. As we discussed before in the rumors, they all do have an armory look to them, which is really cool. It is reminiscent, one of the leakers said it'll be reminiscent of the Power Rangers movies, and people went back and forth on whether that meant 1995 or 2017. It's a bit of both. I think I would say it leans more towards 95, just because I'm getting more of that direct armor vibe, but it doesn't matter. But I like it. One of the things from one of the rumors at one point was that I just said the word one so many times, but that each armor was going to have like a distinct piece. I don't see that from these pictures. I am the dumbest boy in school, so maybe I'm not seeing it, but just from these pictures, I'm not seeing like an armor highlight. It looks like they have all around the same armor. Again, that's maybe just me being an idiot, but they do all have their sort of side capes there. You know, their Kamen Rider lion guy, Beast, there we go, Kamen Rider Beast looking capes, you know, Buffa and all that stuff. Oh, that's funny, because we have a Kamen Rider Buffa now. Anyway, what am I going on about? I just distracted myself like a child. Like, I'm like, oh, Buffa, like I saw something over there. Anyway, I'm really weird in this one today, guys. We also get a look at their swords, which I believe is supposed to be the Henshin device. And it's funny because another one of the leakers said, like, oh, it reminds me of Saber. I'm like, well, you could probably say that about any Toku sword. But I'm like, oh yeah, I see it now. Like, obviously you can sort of see some of the mechanisms that look different than what Saber is, but just at first glance, I'm like, oh yeah, if someone posted this up and said like, oh, this is a new Kamen Rider Saber from like a new V cinema, I would totes believe them. So that they look pretty cool though. You know, I'll be interested to see how they work. As always, you know, my desire going into this, following on deaf ears probably, is that it doesn't have an obnoxious shrieking crackhead voice. That would be great. Just like one cool Sentai voice would be great. Just at least not on the level of Gold from Dawn Brothers. Please, guys, that I almost didn't recover from that. Also see their belts a little bit, which I think it was rumored they were going to have like a touch-screeny gimmick about summoning insect creatures. You can sort of see it looks more flat and sleek there. Also in the background, you can see the mecha. It looks like the main mecha. You can only really see the upper half, which looks to be reds. Maybe some wings in the back. You can't see much else, like you can't see like other body parts and how the colors might differentiate. But it looks pretty cool. It looks very Transformers-y, not in a bad way. It looks a little bit more like almost like a more traditional Transformer robot, like not just Transformers, like, you know, robots in disguise, but just like a transforming robot. Like I feel like I said this maybe about Ryu Soldier. I remember saying something similar at one point, but it reminds me of like when you go into the toy aisle, like not just seeing a Transformer, but you see like kind of a generic company making a generic Transformer bot that's like bug bots. Like that's what it looks like. It looks a little bit less Toku-y, if that makes any sense, at least in the first glance, not in a bad way. I'm just saying that was my first thought, is it almost looks more like a generic bot, but it looks pretty cool. I'm glad that it looks, I guess this is weird to say because I just said it doesn't look Toku-y, but more traditional. Like, again, I don't mind the outside the box thinking, but I appreciated how much more, at least in my opinion, Dawn Brothers mecha were measured. They looked, you know, they didn't look like they were trying to be too weird. They looked like cool mecha that fit in with the theme they were going for. And this looks right up that alley, which I appreciate. Also in like the right or left corner, and this could just be me looking at something weird, or maybe it's part of the mecha and it looks weird, but it looks like a base. Maybe like an extra mecha that's a base, or an extra like larger mecha or something. Beetle battle base. Bam, 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 bam. But that's what I wanted to make that joke. But it does look like a base. I didn't just say, oh, I should say it looks like a base so I can make the Beetle battle base joke. I said it looked like a base when I was looking at the picture, and I said, hey, I can make a Beetle battle base joke. Just so we're clear about, like, I didn't just mention that for the Beetle battle base joke. The Beetle battle base joke happened after it. Why am I still talking about this? Bottom line is, this all looks pretty cool. You know, it's an insect fantasy theme, as we know. I mean, can you believe it, guys? We finally got the insect theme. I've made jokes about this and brought this up in numerous videos over the years. I feel like I at least mentioned it in most of my early Sentai coverage videos since I've been doing this, that every year, one of the earliest rumors is insect. It's almost like clockwork that you could pop open the newest speculation thread and it'll be like, insects, planets. Like, it wasn't even a rumor. People just wrote it down because they assumed it would come out. Like, in a way, I can't believe it finally happened. It seemed almost inevitable because of how long Sentai's been running and will run. But at the same time, you know, they always wanted to keep their hands off it with Kamen Rider. But Kamen Riders look more and more like fevered imaginings. It's like, why can't we just use insects? So I'm happy it's finally here. Very pleased with the first look. It looks exactly as cool as I wanted it to. I'm excited to get more details. And of course, I will keep you guys apprised as we get more in-depth information and all that stuff. But let me know what you guys think of your first impressions of the suits. And I said that really weird. I don't mean like, don't give me a critique of your first impressions. Just give me your first impressions. Anyway, again, I'm weird in this one. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps to ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.